Okay, as I was saying, we have an example of our higher time frame, which is 4 hours, and then we also have another example of like our lower time frame, which is 1 hour. So those two like go hand in hand, same as 1 hour and 15 minutes. So on the second block, we have our 1 hour time frame as our higher time frame, and then on the other block, we have our lower time frame, which is the 15 minutes time frame. So like I said, you need to align the time frame in order for them to work. So for on the higher time frame, we are looking for the direction as I indicated, and then on the lower time frame, that's where we get our entry normally. And for our direction, like I said, we will be looking at the market structure. Like I said last week, we're gonna be looking at the block of structures and market structure shifts. So that's what I indicated right here. That's our direction, and we have to find it where on our higher time frame, depending on which time frame alignment we'll be using, between 4 hours and 1 hour or 1 hour and 15 minutes. So on the lower time frame, we'll be looking for our entry, and in order to find our entry, that's where we find our fair value gap or a block, and then our inducement. And don't forget about using your Fibonacci retracement tool. That's very important. That's very important. You need to know where your premium zone is and your discount zone is. So, with that being said, and since this video is being recorded, you can go back to watch this at any time if you don't understand what I'm saying. But I'm gonna give you an example of the first one right now, which is 4 hour and 1 hour, using 4 hour as my higher time frame, and then 1 hour as my lower time frame. So we have our chart right here. We have our chart here. Let's go to the 4 hour, and let me show you an example of what I'm saying. So as we can see, the direction of the market has been going up, 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 okay? That's where we are going to identify our block of structure as direction. Like I said, we focus only on the 4 hour time frame, and then we'll be focusing only on direction so far. And in order to tell where the direction is going, we have to mark out our break of structure or our change of character. So this one is a break of structure. Let's mark it up. And then let's mark the next one as well. Let's mark the next one as well. But for the moment, let's leave it be. And then, like I said, we only look for direction on the higher time frame, which is the 4 hour time frame in my case. So we drop down to the 1 hour time frame. Let me just type it out. Okay, let's go. We drop down to the 1 hour time frame, which is our lower time frame at the moment. And like I said, let's go back here. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. On our lower time frame, which is the 1 hour at the moment, we're gonna be looking for our entry. We already got our direction. The direction is still going up. So on the lower time frame, which is our 1 hour, we're looking for a fair value gap, an order block, and an inducement. So let's go back and look for those three things. The inducement is very rare, so it's not all the time that you find it. So we're gonna be focusing on our inducement and order block. But if there are an inducement, we have to mark it out as well. It's very important. So I'm not gonna skip this process, even though like we already know what we're doing, but I'm not going to skip the process of our Fibonacci. This is very important, like I said. So you know that everything above the 0.5 is our premium, and then and then everything below the 0.5 is our discount. So let's mark out our imbalance and our order block. So this also counts as an imbalance. This also counts as an imbalance. So let's just type it out. There's our imbalance. And then since we marked our imbalance, this also counts as our order block. This also counts as our order block. And then let's look even further. Do we have an inducement? Because an inducement, remember what I said, that the definition of an inducement is liquidity near an order block, meaning correct. Inducement is the most important. We can find this, but if there's another inducement in the setup, we have to focus on that inducement and then forget about everything right here. And as you have seen, we did get this entry during the week and it successfully hit our take profit. So we have our inducement, meaning there's an order block nearby, which is this one. We got our order block right here. We got our order block. And then now since we're done using the Fibonacci, we can remove it. And then we can put our entry right here. And then we can put our stop loss at our lower low. And then we take profit at our newly formed higher high. So this is pretty much what we'll be looking for if we're using the 1 hour, the 4 hour and the 1 hour as aligned, like using a 4 hour time frame as the higher time frame and using a 1 hour time frame as the lower time frame. So let's continue to the next step. Let's go back. Okay, now we're gonna use the 1 hour time frame as our higher time frame, and then we're going to use the 15-minute time frame as our lower time frame. Like I said, we're going to repeat the same process but with different time frame now, since we're aligning our time frame. So on the 1 hour, we're now going to look for direction, and then on the 15-minute, we're going to look for an entry. Let's first get our direction before going any further. Let's get our direction. We can do it right there, it's fine. Since we did get this entry, so we might as well just do it right here. So here is our direction. We have a breakout structure right here. It was going up. It was going up. It was going up. And then we do have our change of character right here. I'm using structures that you guys are familiar with since we have entered this trade. Don't want to introduce something new to you guys and say like I'm doing something else now. So we're just gonna stick to what we already know until you guys get it. So this is the high that formed the microstructure shift. This is the high that formed the microstructure shift. So like we said, as of Fibonacci normally, we never forget our Fibonacci, but in this case, this is a very different entry. This is the inducement entry, so I think we should skip this one because we have already done the inducement entry. We're looking for a continuation entry on the 1 hour. This is also an inducement entry, so let's go ahead. Maybe we'll find something. Maybe we'll find something. Okay. Okay, we've already done this, we've already done that. Okay, I think we found our structure. Let's say this is another break of structure to the upside. We have our structure, and then we also have the high that created the structure. So we mark that 2 as our TP, and then let's mark out our break of structure. Okay, there we go. And then let's not forget our Fibonacci retracement. Okay, this is our Fibonacci retracement. And then let me zoom this out. Let me zoom this out. Where our rules at? Okay. Like we said, we're gonna use the 1 hour time frame as the higher time frame, and then the 15-minute as the lower time frame. Therefore, now that we have found our direction, we are going to find the entry, which means we're gonna be looking for our favorite gap order block and inducement. So let's go back to the setup. Okay. As our setup, let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, let me zoom this out. Okay, we have our 15-minute time frame. Okay, we have our imbalance right here. This is where we have our imbalance. Let me zoom it out so you guys can see it clearly. Let me fix our break of structure. Okay, let me mark up our imbalance. And then there's this low that was created right here, which is going to be our inducement since it was created by the fair value gap. So we have our inducement. Okay, I marked out our inducement, and then here is our order block. This is where we're going to find our entry point. This is our order block. So we have found all three. Our fair value gap, found it. We have found our inducement, found it. We have found our order block, found it. And on the 1 hour, we have found our break of structure, meaning that we know the direction. Therefore, everything checks out. And then we are using what? Premium and discount, meaning that, okay, everything is in check. And then that's where we get our entry points. That's where we get our entry points. This came really close to hitting our stop loss normally. It came really close. Let me check if it didn't hit. It didn't hit, but it came really close to hitting our stop loss. So regardless, we went and hit our TP. So we have followed all the rules, and then we won our trade. So one thing that I'm going to tell you, like, sometimes you are going to face losses, and regardless, there are losses. So like, you have to accept them and move forward. No strategy like is 100%. I think like everyone on TikTok or wherever, they keep saying that it's true. Like every strategy is not 100%, but we strive to make it almost 100%. Like this strategy, like as you've seen, like we barely lose trades, barely. But the problem with this strategy is very bad when it comes to trading the news, especially when you're using 4 hour and 1 hour as your higher time frame and lower time frame. It's very like complicated to find an entry that way. But if you're trading news, I would recommend that you use the 1 hour as your break of structure or something like that. I recommend that you use 1 hour as your higher time frame and then 15 minutes as our lower time frame. Excuse me for my voice, I've been sick the whole week. That's why I even lost NFP. So, oh, that's just an excuse, who knows? But anyways, this is how we should have done it. This is how we should have done it normally. We should have traded the 1 hour time frame as our higher time frame. So normally this would be our uh, change of character, not our break of structure. We don't have a change of character to the upside. So normally this would be our change of character, and then we have our high and we also have our low. So like I said, the 1 hour corresponds with the 15 minutes. So let's go to the 15 minutes and confirm. Let me just type it out. So this is how it looks on the 15-minute time frame. This is how it looks. This is how it looks. So there we have it. Let's mark out our imbalance. We have our imbalance right here. That's our imbalance. Our imbalance. And then we have an inducement right here. We have our inducement right here. We have an inducement right here. So as we can see, it didn't even reach our order block. So normally this wasn't our entry. I wouldn't enter this trade normally. I wouldn't enter this trade normally. I wouldn't enter this trade because this is our order block and it didn't get touched. So the market didn't tap us in this trade. But that's okay as well. That's okay as well. It will tap us on the next trade. So not every trade is going to work out, but the majority of the trades you take with the strategy are going to work out. They are going to work out. So this is how the trade was going normally. So like it didn't tap us in. So hopefully we get the next chance on this trade. So let's go back to the basics so that you guys can remember. Let's go back to the basics. Okay, I'm going to say this one last time. We have our time frames here. Due to the rule of time frame alignment, time frames have to be aligned in order to work. So you can either use your 4-hour time frame as your higher time frame and then 1 hour time frame as your lower time frame, or you can either use your 1 hour time frame as your higher time frame, or again you can either use your lower time frame as the 15 minute to get your trade. And then on the higher time frame you look for directions, which is determined by the break of structure, like market structure shift and the break of structure. And then on the lower time frame, you are going to look for an entry, which is determined by your fair value gap and order block. And let's not forget the endorsement. It's very important. Where there's an endorsement, there's bound to be a good trade, like literally. The endorsement is very important. So, how many minutes have we done so far? Feels like forever. But for now, that's all I wanted to explain, time frame alignment. If you guys have any questions, I would recommend you go to the group and everyone can ask their questions. And then without further ado, we can stop right there. I think we're done for the session. So I'll see you guys next time, but we still have a lot of time, so but we're done regardless. I don't wanna teach you guys everything at once. You need to process the stuff. So we're done for now. And hopefully I'll see you on the next session.